what we're doing with that service request is on the back end, you're building up your catalog, your service catalog, with all the services that an end user could request. Those services can span multiple departments. So you may have it where they're requesting IT services, i.e. they want to request a tablet or a mobile phone. It could be that they're requesting facilities type services, i.e. their office that they're located in is too cold, or the room that they're in and the building is too cold, so they're going to submit a facilities request for that. But again, it could flow across multiple departments. So that's really when we start to say empowering those end users to self-serve. That's what we're alluding to, and they're doing that with their self-service portal. Now, that portal is very easy to customize. When I get into the demonstration, we'll enter it as an end user. So we're going to go in through the self-service portal and request the service again that IT has made available to us. The service portfolio is, again, kind of that catalog of all your services. We're going to look at some that have already been published, but let's say today we're offering, in the name of tablets, Apple devices, the iPad, we're offering the Google Nexus, the Microsoft Surface. In 6 months, we know we're going to have a Dell offering as well. So I could start to define those and have them, if you will, in a draft mode available for a future date and time. So I can use that for things that are, yes, available today and those things that are coming down the pipe. But again, it's all the services that you want to enable your end users to request. All right, so with that, let me head over into our demonstration. And again, I'm coming in as the end user. And let me back up here just one tab. So here, what they've shown me for my particular view, again, I'm in as an end user. You can make this be as expansive as you want. I'm only showing the service catalog. If you wanted to open this up and show, let's say, your knowledge articles, then you could put that browser in here as well. But again, for the sake of this demonstration, I'm specifically showing service requests. Here I can see quickly all the services that I could potentially ask or request. You'll notice here I have a facilities item. So here I could request training services. Also in this catalog is human resources. So it could be that I'm about to hire someone into my department, so I could request this new hire onboarding where it's allocating them a machine, maybe a mobile device. If it's a salesperson, maybe a printer, giving them access to our sales systems like Salesforce. But there could be a list of different things in this request, again, because I'm onboarding a new hire. And again, that's in my HR. The one that we're going to delve into is the new hardware services. So here, I'm opting for a tablet. So in this scenario, I've kind of gone through the browser aspect, but there are multiple ways, if you will, to enter this same type of request. Again, here, I'll just opt for the new mobile hardware services. And more specifically, there's 3 things, again, there that I could order. I'm going to do this tablet PC. Now, when I select this one, again, it's quickly showing me, okay, there's what I could potentially order. I'm going to go ahead and say and request this service. So now at this point, I'm going to be prompted for the specifics of that device. If we think about this from the IT side of it, what they're doing is getting all the questions answered on the front end that they would need to fulfill this request for me. So here they put in the short description. So here I need a tablet PC. And as I start to answer questions or answer these fields like tablet make, I may be presented with additional questions. So by way of an example, I'm requesting the Apple iPad. When I do that, now you'll see it's asking me for the model that I want. So, of course, I want the one that's 64 gig. Do you want a data service? If I say yes, now it's asking me, well, who's your provider? So I would say AT&T or whoever it may be there. So once I filled out all my questions, and you'll notice it's very simple what they're asking me, I'm going to go ahead and save this, and it will submit this service request up to IT. Now, this form very customizable, and you can kind of see that by it asking me tablet make. If I chose iPad, it was going on to model. So you can build in dependencies to the questions that you want to present to your end user. So again, at the end of it all, IT has the answers to those questions so you can fulfill this particular request very efficiently. So here, I'm going to go ahead and save and close. And you'll see here I've got it done. Now, if I want to see the status of this, you may have noticed on that initial screen it went off to pending approval. And then you can, in there as well, if you want to say everything less than a certain dollar amount, automatically approve it. If we don't have to wait for Dick to sign off, you can do that. Here, I'm going to go ahead and close this particular view. It just throws us back to the main one. And I'm going to look here in my service request. And what I'm able to see here is a history of all my service requests that I have made. So it's very easy for me to come in here, choose one, and see where we are in the process. I can see the one that we just entered is pending approval, so I'm waiting for them to approve it before it goes on to that next state. Point here is they don't have to keep calling the help desk. They can quickly look in the view and see where we are. So this one, we've not even approved it yet. There'd be no reason to call and say, well, where are we? Am I going to get it tomorrow? We're still waiting for approval. Okay, so I'll just head back to the services. We're in this big catalog view. I'll take it back to the main one. I said there was multiple ways that you could get to that. You also have the ability, or your end users would, to put in a few characters here. So I'm going to say tablet and do a quick search. So if I'm not familiar with the catalog tree, I can simply do that, and it's going to search across all my catalog items and then present me with what had tablet in it so I can see it here quickly. And again, if I click, then that's going to throw me through the same template that we just saw. And the other way is you can present them with a button. So here at the top, I say request a service. And when I do that, I have the form in front of me, and what I can do quickly is say, well, here's all the templates that I could, or the request that I could be making. Let me go ahead and do this tablet PC, and there again, it's going to kind of peruse through and have me answer the questions and then submit this up. So multiple ways to get to that service request. I'll just close this one out, cancel that back, and then land us on this main screen. Multiple ways to get there. And again, this is the self-service, or the way that you can empower your end users to search through the catalog that you're making available so they can request the relevant services. Okay, so now what we'll do is switch and look at it from the technician's perspective. And let's see if I grab the right one. So here I've entered into Service Corps as a technician, and I'm looking at my service portfolio. So really quickly, I can see all the services that I have provisioned up and making available to my end users. That tablet PC, so Service 1 is one of them. And if we look here, again, we've got some general information, but I can see that image that they saw when they first went in to request the service is here. I've got my general information, i.e. I can see it's using a specific template, and that's what we saw when we opted for request a service, kind of that third use case. I can see the category, that price associated with that particular service item. Again, all things that I can see when we actually look at the service itself. The other thing that we can see from the technician perspective, I'm going to go into the Home tab, and this is showing me all the requests that have come in. So I'm just going to do a quick refresh on this. And what we're seeing is this top one, so 123, I can see pending approval. So when we go into this actual request, what you'll notice that off the bat on the left, there are more headings or potentially fields that as a technician I could fill in. So here I've got my details, and I can see the Apple iPad, which one they're requesting. I can see here that it's pending approval. If we head down the left, I can see when I hit this approval who we're waiting on. So really only one person to approve this particular item, and then we can progress forward with the rest of the workflow for satisfying this particular service request. So here, I'm going to go ahead and approve it. And you can see here, if I opt I'm saying approved, then we're going to basically change that status to open and then again continue with our workflow. So I'll go ahead and approve it. And then automatically when I head back to details, you'll notice my status has moved from pending approval to now open. And from open, we can take various paths. So you may be saying, well, what's the paths from there? So at this point, I would, as a technician, I need to know if we have some in stock that I can issue out to this particular person, or maybe we need to go to the vendor and get one ordered, again, to send to them. But the way I'm going to see any of this workflow, I'm going to switch tabs quickly. Let me just close this down, and we're going to head off to this administration tab, or actually, let's see here. Let's do it from this workspace. So here, I'm in to the workspace. We're looking at my service request item, and in here, we'll see the workflow processes. And I'll just open up the one for my service request. So you can see here, what makes me come into this workflow is a defining criteria. So if we look here on the left and open this up, you'll see a couple things. So if the requested item is equal to tablet, or that short description is new tablet PC, I'm entering into this workflow. And I can see my default is to head here to pending approval. And if we get that approved state, you'll remember it said it was going to open. So I can do two things from this pending approval. I can head here, if you'll follow my cursor, to open. And then at this point, like I alluded to, we either have that tablet in our inventory and I can give it to the end user, or I need to get it from my vendor. So you'll see their pending vendor. So I can change that state to pending vendor. We're going to order the tablet from them. You'll notice at this point, once I have it in my inventory, it's going back to this open status, and then ultimately we can complete that ticket. The other option, of course, is to head on over to close, because we've satisfied it and we can close out that service request. But the nice thing is I'm looking at the workflow process for my service requests. I can, and you'll remember that defining criteria was specifically for my tablet PCs. I could have additional workflows for all of my additional requests that are coming in. I may have different workflows as it pertains to if we start thinking about some of the other ITIL processes in Service Core. So I may have a different one altogether for my change requests or those incidents that are coming in. So you can get very verbose, very specific on the workflows that you need to craft for the different items that are coming through Service Core. Okay, we did a couple other things, or we saw a couple other things on that service request. So we came, as it was coming in, of course, it was for a request for a tablet PC, and it said Apple. I chose, and it had some dependencies. So some other things you'll see here for that specific service request. I do have that form that I've stood up. You'll recall it was very different, my agent view versus my end user view. Very easy to customize this form. Here on the left, if I wanted to add, let's say, something to this details section, I very easily can add any type of control just by simply dragging and dropping it here onto the form. We're going to look at more specifically the fields that were in play for that tablet. So I'm just going to back up one level. I can see really quickly all the fields that are in play for this particular service request. More specifically, we had the tablet make. And I'm just going to hit edit on the tablet make. And I can see quickly, those are the four choices that we saw. But I alluded to we were going to start an offering for a Dell tablet. And maybe it's called a Dell Venue. I can't remember. But we want to add that. So very easy to add data to that form so it's available for us going forward. And the other thing that we saw here was the dependencies. So there again, if I'm on my tablet make, I can set up whatever type of field dependencies that I want to do. So there, when I opted for Apple iPad, the next thing that was presented to me was tablet model. If I want to add additional dependencies, let's say for that Google Nexus, for the Microsoft Surface, I can do that as well, again, very quickly just by adding those field dependencies. Okay, so on the service request, again, it works hand in hand with my self-service portal. From the end user perspective, we'll just kind of run through this really quickly. I'm presenting them with really a catalog of items that they could request. Once they make the request, now it's up inside of the service core, and my technicians, we'll head back to this workspace, my technicians will see those requests when they're coming in. They may require the approval. The workflow that we can set up is very specific depending on what item they're requesting. Once I have that workflow set up, we can progress through the various phases, and if we find we need to make any modifications to that form that we're presenting to the end user, add models, take models away, very easy to customize that view that we're presenting to them.